Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to episode 3 of Full Open, where I'm joined by emilyywang. Um, Emily, for those of you who don't know who you are, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Emily. I am a full-time Twitch streamer, and I used to be a lawyer, so that was something a little bit different. And I transitioned to full-time streaming TFT like July of last year. So it's been almost a year.
How long were you a lawyer before you started streaming on transition to Twitch?
About 5 years. Yeah, a long time.
Okay, wow, I had no idea. When you
Yeah.
switched to streaming on Twitch, was that something like you just started streaming and then it kind of happened, or did you start with like the goal of streaming full time?
No, because I think like I've streamed part-time for a really long time. Like I didn't stream TFT at first. I just streamed part-time variety games. And like seeing the income at around like 200 viewers back then, there was like no way that, it was ever going to be a thing. Um so I kind of just like streamed TFT for fun. I didn't think it was ever going to go anywhere, and like I think I only streamed 2 to 3 times a week in the beginning, maybe like once to twice sometimes. But then it started working out, and like I started playing the game more and more, and I found myself giving more energy to TFT rather than my work. And I ended up just quitting my job and then going full-time TFT because it was um at one point became like okay enough financially.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. So when you said at one point,
Hmm.
how long into like about like do you remember like how many like roughly hours or anything like you were into streaming before you hit that point where you was like, hey, I actually want to switch over, or how many
Yes.
years maybe?
Yeah, so I think I took a really long break because to focus on IRL work and stuff. So I think I didn't stream for like a year and a half. And then when I came back, I just started streaming TFT. I think I was like Diamond Masters in set two at first when I started streaming. And sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, I was asking because you said you're streaming
Uh-huh.
part-time, and then it's like
Yeah, yeah.
somewhere along the line you're like, hey, like I could actually make this work. Like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
how long were you doing like the part-time streaming for, I guess? Yeah.
So part-time streaming TFT when I came back after a year and a half, I think I did it for about a year-ish. While I was working at the same time. And then I actually ended up streaming a lot more when I went to Korea, like I think it was a year and a half ago. And that's when I started streaming more because there was not much else to do. So that's when things started to kick off because I actually did start streaming like almost every day of the week. And then after I did that for about 6 months is when it was okay for me to actually just do it full time.
Cool. In those 6 months, did you
Mhm.
experience like pretty consistent growth, like month to month, or did you ever have like periods of time that were like rough, or you experienced like decline?
Yeah, I don't think it was consistent growth. I think for like maybe a couple months it was pretty consistent. But then there were definitely months where it would like fall off. And then I think recently it's started to grow more again. But I think I was always around like back then it was around 1K viewers. And then I took a break for a little bit. And then it went like I noticed that I definitely went backwards. But then it would just like grow randomly and ungrow randomly. So I do think though, like the more consistent you are, the more it will consistently grow. But it's just really hard to be super consistent.
Yeah, definitely. Because this is important, but it's also hard. So it's like, how do you stay consistent when you're like not in the when you're not in the mood? Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure like you've gone through periods of time where it's like you just don't feel like streaming or
Yeah. I think this set, like 6.5, was a good example. I don't think it was a very enjoyable set. So I felt like I was definitely not as consistent for a lot of it. But then at times I would also be like, okay, well, even if I don't like the set that much, I still have to play. And I think that also does show that like I'm not having as much fun, even if there is the consistency there. So I think like the best is just to have the consistency and really, really enjoy the game. But yeah, this set definitely not as consistent and didn't have as much fun.
Uh,
So
okay,
that
wait, do
was
you
that.
stream and you're not having as much fun? Do you feel like that
Mhm.
reflects on like your results?
Yeah, I think you can tell. I think viewers can tell, and I think like you're just not as animated or excited on stream, and then you know your viewers won't be as excited or as animated for you. Um, so I think you can definitely tell. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I agree. I've experienced that a lot as well. So you have it's hard because you have to balance like consistency at the same time. So what
Hmm.
if you're not in the mood, but do you think
Hmm.
it's better to stream anyway, or just take the day off?
Hmm. For me, I think it's like I do have a certain amount of hours to meet every month, but like if I'm really not feeling it, like I know myself, I can just take like 2 to 3 days off, and then I can just come back and everything will be fine. Like I'll be more excited about the game. I might try new things. I think also for me though, like I personally like trying to climb when I care about the game a lot. And like right now, I don't really care about climbing, so that's also why it takes away the fun a little bit. But as long as like take a couple days off, come back, it's fine. I think it's like as long as you're not taking off too many days, I think it's okay. But I know like if you're beginning streaming, like if you just started, it's a lot harder to like convince yourself to take the days off because you're like worried constantly about your growth if you do take those days off. But I think it's like once you've, already been doing it for a while, it's more like manageable. Yeah.
Okay, I want to ask what you mentioned. Said you said like you really enjoy TFT when you're like focused on climbing. Do you did you still have that like bet with Soju to get like 1500 this set? Is that a thing or?
Oh, it's let's just say it's not.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's fine.
So I also want to
Next set.
I also want to ask.
Mhm.
So you've been streaming TFT for a while. So I know for myself, it's very hard to. My win rate's a lot better off stream. So
Mhm.
just because like streaming takes some of your attention. So I want to ask
Mhm.
like, how do you feel about that? Like, do you feel like streaming makes your win rate go down, and how do you balance like that
Mhm.
wanting to climb with streaming?
I think I do play better off stream, but then it's the set I honestly don't have very many games off stream because like when I really really love the game, I'll play a lot off stream as well. But the set I haven't that much, and I think this is the set that I streamed more as well. So like I don't actually know if there is much of a big difference. Probably like a little bit. But I don't like I've never, tried for like worlds or like big tournaments or anything like that. So I think I can't really speak to that because I've never played at like, as maybe as high a level as um some of you. But I'm sure there's a difference. It's just I haven't experienced it too much.
Okay.
And I don't really mind the difference.
Okay. Do you want to try for like worlds in set seven?
Set seven. It depends on how fun it is, I think.
Fair enough.
Like,
Fair enough.
I do like trying to climb, but it also makes me an angrier person. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how I feel about the set.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I actually relate to that too because when I'm like really high LP, I get really stressed out when I bot four.
Mm,
But then when I'm like near like the bottom, I like just don't care at all.
yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, so I actually didn't know this. You were a lawyer for 5 years. That's really interesting. I want to go back to that, and
Mm,
so obviously like streaming's a completely different life path. There's like a lot of
uh-huh.
opportunity costs there. Like, if you were to do it all over again, would you still choose streaming?
Yeah, I would. I think I would just do it before I even went to law school. Because
Yeah.
I graduated, like I did it really quickly. I graduated college in like 3 years and I just went straight to law school, like did that in 3 years. And then when I got out of it, I feel like I was still really young and I didn't even like know what I wanted or if I even liked it. Like I didn't know anything about myself. I just like did it because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Um, and I wish like I didn't do that. And I don't think I ever really liked being a lawyer that much, especially since the stuff I was doing wasn't exactly like helping people. It was
Hmm.
kind of the opposite. So I feel like I wish I just never went through the law thing in the first place and like just streamed or did something else. But
Okay.
streaming is definitely infinitely better.
Okay. I'm actually really curious. So this is, I guess, a little not about the Twitch thing, but you said
Hmm.
you weren't really helping people as a lawyer. What kind of law
Yeah.
were you doing?
So I worked a lot in like the pharmaceutical industries, and I did antitrust. So basically like what you would do back then was there would be these pharmaceutical companies who are trying to keep their branded drugs at very high prices.
Yeah,
And sometimes they weren't doing it very legally,
yeah.
but we would still have to defend them when they get sued. And a lot of times they got sued by the government for doing this. So it was just kind of like very unmotivating sometimes, because you're not like working for the better good. And then I worked after that like in more I quit after a couple years doing that, and then I worked at a smaller law firm, and that was fine, but it was kind of like more boring. So
Okay.
I feel like all the law type of laws I did, I don't know if it's just I haven't found my like interest, but it wasn't super great.
I mean, it definitely does not sound as fun as streaming TFT. That's actually
Yeah.
crazy. Your story is surprisingly similar to mine.
Oh,
Um,
really? What did you
you
do?
graduated from Columbia, by the way, for
Uh-huh.
those of you viewers, very prestigious. But I graduated in 3 years as well. I got a computer science
Uh-huh.
degree, and like I never liked it either. But it was like by the time I realized I didn't like, it, I was like deeper and deeper into it.
Yeah, yeah, same,
And it's
same. I
like
was
more
like,
and more I didn't like it, but it's like I'm more like, oh, I might as well finish now. I'm so close.
yeah.
And then I worked for the U.S. Food and Drug Administration for 3 years, and
Oh, you did? Wow.
a lot of it was also a little, like they're trying to like push these drugs onto the market, and like maybe it
Uh-huh.
fails a safety test. They're like, oh, run it
Oh
again
my
with
God.
these different types of like parameters, right? And then like they just
Uh-huh.
like handpick the one that works. Um,
Oh my God.
so yeah, it's
Wait,
actually
now I'm concerned about what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
putting in
I
my
mean,
body.
yeah, yeah. So it's kind of interesting that we kind of similar background. I mean, I'm trying to start my streaming career now. I'm 34.
Mhm. Oh,
Anyway,
I
going
can do it.
back, yeah, going back to Twitch. So, how long have you been streaming full time?
Um, so I think I quit my job in July. Maybe it was June, July of last year. So I don't know, almost a year now. Yeah.
Okay, wow, that's. I actually thought you were streaming full time a lot longer than that. Cool,
Oh,
that's awesome.
yeah, before it was more part-time, but so I think I started streaming more starting like February, and then slowly I would stream more and like not put as much effort or like energy into work. So like probably starting in February I was already pivoting more to like full-time, and then but I was still working like the 40 almost 40 hours, even though, if maybe not every hour was like working,
Yeah.
but it was still technically full-time work. And I think I just pretty quickly went February to July like full-time.
No, for sure. What you said about like not every hour being working, it's like in an 8 hour like office day, like very
Hmm.
few people. I think like I've heard like the average you're working like 2 hours, but like when you're streaming, you're actually like working the whole
Yeah,
time, and then off stream you're producing
no,
content and stuff like that, and like
exactly.
thinking about how to improve your stream. So how do you feel like streaming compares to other jobs? Like obviously we talked about it's a lot more fun, but like
Hmm.
you get a lot of people who say, "Oh, like your job is so easy. You're just like playing video games." Like
Hmm.
how do you think it compares to like I guess your old job
Yeah,
and
I
like how
think
hard it is and stuff?
it's definitely like hard in its own ways because first of all, like today I streamed like 9.5 hours, but it's
Oh
not
wow.
like, you take breaks or anything. You're literally sitting there for 9.5 hours doing work the whole time, right? You're like talking the whole time, playing the whole time. There's like no breaks. Um, and so it's actually like a lot more intense than like people think. Um, and I also think like even after streaming, you're constantly just thinking about like, how can I like do more? Like it never stops. Whereas I think with like legal work and stuff like that, when you don't have to think about work, you don't. But with streaming, you're always thinking about it. Like after stream, I'm thinking about like, oh, what should I post on social
Yeah.
media? Like, what streamers should I watch to like learn more about them? what should I like what kind of content should I try to introduce to my stream? Like what do I need to talk to my agent today? Do I need to do, there's just so much stuff like all the time and like you just never really stop thinking about it even when you're outside having fun. So it's like more of a struggle that way, but it's at least it's more fun and like you want to do it. So it's not as like painful on the mental.
Yeah, it's glad to hear you're still having fun. So, I mean, after 1 year, do you feel like you're still having like as much fun as you were like when you first started?
uh yeah, I think it's a lot in TFT, it's a lot like set dependent, in
Okay.
my opinion. Like some sets you just love and like you have so much fun with. 1,000 games plus feels like nothing. And sometimes it's harder for sure to play. So I think that affects things a lot. Um, but yeah, I think I'm still like having fun, as much fun now. Maybe like it was definitely in the beginning though, it was more fresh and more
Yeah.
fun. But still it's like fun now in a different way. I'm also thinking of like streaming maybe a little bit of like IRL or variety, like maybe 10%, just so it's not so like TFT dependent. Because I like streaming a lot.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes with TFT, like you don't like it a lot, but you also have nothing to stream.
Yeah, someone gave me the advice if you want to get into variety, it's like stream TFT and then for the last like 1 hour of your stream, then like switch it up.
Mhm.
So I guess like what are your thoughts on just like variety streaming?
Yeah, I
Um,
think that's like a really good idea to like maybe stream TFT for 5, 6 hours and then do 1 hour of variety. And that's what I'm thinking of doing as well because I think it does work. I think that's like what Skara always said to do. Or that's what like he told me to do a while back. And yeah, so I think like recently I've been thinking maybe streaming an hour of Valorant or like an hour of like Just Dance or like Ring Fit or something silly. I also was thinking, and I think like maybe transitioning not into another game, but like a bit of IRL content, like Just Dance or like Ring
okay.
Fit or Wii Fit or whatever is might be more like palatable to viewers because they might, everyone can watch that. Whereas like if you pivot to Valorant, like who knows how many people
Yeah.
actually know how to play Valorant.
Yeah, for sure. Whereas like everyone hopefully does some exercise.
Yeah, hopefully. Or at least maybe they'll have fun watching.
Yeah. Or maybe it'll encourage them to do some exercise.
Hmm.
But so I'm thinking like a few years down the line, is that like do you aspire to be like a variety streamer or do you think like TFT will always be like your main game?
A few years down the line, I think hopefully it's like gotten to the point where I could stream anything, almost anything I want, and it would be okay. But I don't know how possible that is. Like, I think not that many people make it like successfully into variety. So yeah, it just really depends. I would hope though that like I could stream variety and
Okay.
everyone, would love watching no matter what
Yeah.
I played, but
I
we'll
see.
see.
So it's like an aspiration, but it's like you understand it's really competitive at the same time. So it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like fair enough, fair enough. Um, let's go back to a little different topic. What are you think your strengths as a streamer compared to
Mhm.
others?
I think for me, I think I just have like more energy to do things. Like I feel like I'm more energetic on stream or like
Hmm.
I could stream for a long periods if I wanted to or needed to. I also think I can like I'm learning pretty well how to keep my viewers engaged. Um but yeah, I don't know too much. I'm also like also always kind of thinking of how to make things better. Like I know some people will just like turn on their stream every day and just stream the game and like do nothing else. But I think I'm like starting ever since like a few months back, I started thinking more about like how I can do a little bit more. So yeah, that's something might be a bit different.
That's something I'm thinking a lot about and struggling with. What are some things that have really worked
Mhm.
out for you and like keeping your viewers engaged?
Yeah, so I think like just one of the things I started recently is something called like community day. So on Saturdays, I'll at the like last couple hours of stream, I'll play like a game of TFT with my viewers. I'll do a raffle where I coach one of them and they're like really excited about it. I'm thinking of like making it into a YouTube series as well. And then afterwards we'll like watch a movie in Discord. I think also like emotes are actually really big, just like, incorporating emotes into like your speech and like the cute new or like, slightly suggestive emotes that your
I
viewers want.
have no idea
Um,
what you're talking about.
yeah, of course not. Um, but yeah, stuff like that, I think it's always good. And always like I think just watching other streamers, not just TFT streamers, like maybe watching other streamers as well to get ideas from them. So like I noticed reason why I came up with like the Wii Fit, Ring Fit,
Mhm.
like Just Dance content is because I actually saw some people doing it and like their community seemed to have a lot of fun because like you can also join in and they like have fun watching like whether the person's like messing up or doing a good job or whatever. So yeah, I think it's just like important to watch other people, especially people that like you think do a good job on their streams and stuff like that. Bought a voice changer but I haven't installed it yet. It's like
Oh,
a
okay,
new
wow.
mixer and it has like
Yeah.
it has like a bunch of sound effects and like stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I know like Box will do that thing where sometimes it sounds
Yeah.
like he's like falling down a well or it goes like really deep or whatever.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. I got one too.
Cool, that's really exciting. Wow, so there's, I feel like there are so many questions I had from what you just said, but I do think watching other streamers to like learn from is obviously very
Mhm.
important. I think watching streamers outside of TFT is great because it's like, um, I'm also curious. So you said like getting ideas from other streamers. I think like when you mentioned the Community Saturday thing, I
Mhm.
want to steal that idea. It's like how do you feel about that? Because I'm kind of new to this space, and
Mhm.
I get the impression that it's just like, hey, if you see someone else have an idea, you like it, you can just just take it. But it's like I guess I want
Mhm.
to ask you because to me it feels really weird. It's like
Mhm.
you have this idea, someone else is like benefiting from it.
No,
How
I
do you
think it's
feel?
totally fine. Like it's not like I came up with the idea on my own. Like I used to watch a lot of Fuslie. I don't know if you know who she is.
Vaguely, not
And
really.
Fuslie, yeah, so she's like pretty big now. Like back when I knew her, she had like 300 viewers. Now she has like 10K, but she grew like so much. And I remember like when her community was a bit smaller, she would have these, like movie nights and like these community, like she would focus really hard on her community. And
Hmm.
I just like started thinking about it recently. I'm like, why don't I bring that back? It's not like I magically came up with the
Yeah, yeah,
idea. Like everyone's ideas came from somewhere, like subathons, like anything. So it's like I feel like you're almost never going to be the first person to come up with something. So if you see someone doing something and you like it, I think you should just do it. Like they probably took it from someone else and everyone's like a lot of other people are probably doing it. And I don't think people will care because it's not like something super original and like, part of them that you're taking.
yeah. No, I think I completely agree with that. It's just I think a
Hmm.
little bit of me still feels like a little bit guilty for like
Yeah. No,
plagiarism.
no, don't. I don't care at all.
All
Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna steal that. That sounds really
Hmm.
awesome. So what would your advice to someone who's, because I know the TFT, like when I'm ending my stream, I'm like looking who to raid. Like I got lucky where like I won Challenger Series and like got some exposure.
Hmm.
But I see a lot of streamers who are like they're streaming every day, averaging like 10 to 20 viewers. What advice would
Hmm.
you have to like those people if they're like trying to stream full time?
Um, I think in TFT specifically, you just have to be like really good at the game. Like if you want to like I know a lot of streamers that got bigger was because they hit like rank 1 or something at one point. And I'm not saying you have to hit rank 1, but viewers want to watch like people at the very, very top. If they've, didn't come from it, like they didn't come from another game and they're just starting out, it's their first time streaming. I think it's just important to be really good and obviously like be really good and entertaining at the same time and stream very consistently. But it is hard for sure, especially since like I think a lot of these streaming spaces are pretty saturated already.
Yes.
But it's just, keep on trying, keep getting better at the game, keep, getting better at being entertaining, and
Yeah.
then it should work out, hopefully.
Okay. Awesome. Do you have so when you say like being entertaining, earlier we talked about engagement, you mentioned like a kind of event you do. Do you have a good like engagement tip that you just do like in general throughout your entire stream? like at all
Um,
times?
yeah, I think part of it is like I know, for example, Box does his like flush baiting a lot,
Yeah.
where he says something like really sus or like,
Yeah.
you know, sexual, and then his whole chat's like flush, and like it goes on all stream. That's
Yeah.
like something. For me, I'll like I kind of took that a little bit, and um, I also like say emotes or like I do say something, and I like kind of know what the
Yeah.
reaction will be, and then I see the reaction. But it's kind of like you want to do things or say things that will like get more reactions, I guess. And yeah, so I guess try to do that more. And I also sometimes just like say like pog or like yay, yep, or like like I'll just say emotes and then, you know, people will type it back. So stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good advice. Like, say something, yeah, that people can react to. Say something in
Hmm.
chat. Awesome. Speaking of Twitch chat, are there any like Twitch chat? Let me see how I phrase this. Is there anything like you really like when your Twitch chat does like something you wish like Twitch chat would do more of?
Yeah, I like it. I don't like it when they backseat, and I like it when they like just emo and like, you know, I like when they use emotes and are like excited for something I'm doing. Like if I hit, you know, like a Galio 3, I
Yeah.
love seeing that, oh my God, you hit Pog, like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Yeah, I just like it when they react and when they also seem excited about what I'm doing.
Um, have you ever? So you said obviously you don't like vaccine. I get super tilted at vaccinating.
Mhm.
Have you ever had to ban someone who's been like a long time like sub or follower on your channel?
I'm not sure about sub, but follower for sure. I think it's like I don't even, you know, really look at the follow date, but if someone's being really annoying, I'll open their chat logs. I'll read like skim through their chat history. If it looks like pretty bad, it's just I don't even look. I just ban. And
Yeah.
then if anything, they can always send an unban request, you know?
Yeah.
There's I don't look at them too often, but um yeah, they're there.
Okay. I think that makes sense. Going shifting gears a bit. Do you have a favorite streaming memory or like just any like experiences in streaming that like really stand out to you?
Mm, I think when like this wasn't TFT, but when I very like at the very beginning when I first started streaming, like and I it was like I think I just started and I joined like this like talent show thingy. And that was like really, really fun. And I got to meet like so many people at that time. And I got to like be part of other people's communities and also like start building my own. And that was like something that was pretty memorable because it was just, you know, it was just so early on and one of like the big first things I did. So that
Sorry,
was
this is like
probably
a
one
Twitch
thing.
talent show.
No, it was by another streamer.
Oh,
And
okay. So it was like
it was
an
many
event
years
hosted by.
ago.
Okay. Do you feel
It
like
was like 4 or
that?
5 years ago.
Do you feel like that was important in like your growth, or does it was it just like a just a boost, or was it like something that was like really important?
Yeah, I think it was pretty important. Like I think it's not very often that you like can have more than just like a temporary boost, but then if you get to know the people and like you know, you showcase like something cool or whatever, um, I think people can it can be more than just like a temporary boost. And so that was for me, it definitely was. And I remember this Korean like singer, his name's Charming Joe. I don't know if you know him, but he
No.
also went on like another one, and that's kind of how he like people got to know who he was. And then also like some of the OTK events, same thing. So oh, and then another streamer I remember went on Toast like dating show, and then that like helped kickstart her streaming career. So just like it's random, like if it can help or not, but then it can definitely help.
Yeah, I think well, any exposure is good. So when you say
Yeah.
like people got to know you, do you think it's by that like I was a little unsure. Did you mean more like the exposure to like more audience of viewers or like the creators
Mhm.
themselves and like having those connections?
Both. I think it was a lot to the audience itself, but also like at the same time a lot to creators themselves. So it did help in both ways. Yeah.
What is what is something that you think that you wish you did a lot better?
Mm. I think I wish that I was more consistent and that I did try to do a little bit more than just stream. Because I think, like, in TFT, especially, a lot of the streamers are more just like, are just TFT. Like, they turn on their stream, they stream TFT. Like, sometimes they stream a lot of TFT, but then that's like, that's just what we do. And I've kind of fallen into that as well. But I feel like, it's also important to like kind of take care of some things like besides just TFT. Like, for example, caring about our socials a little bit more, or like, maybe if there is another game to like try and play it, or to like build into something else a little bit more. But I think I just like kind of hyper focused on TFT and only streaming TFT, and like only recently have kind of expanded a little bit more. But I did wish I did that earlier, and I do wish that I was more consistent about doing that, and also about more consistent about streaming. Because I don't think like I think my stream hours, it's okay. It's like 120 to 140 a month. Um but I think I could definitely like if streaming more than that would definitely also help, and I I don't a lot of times. So yeah, those are two things.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, it sounds like it definitely sounds like you're on the right track with there. And I mean, you're like I said, I'm starting later than anyone, so you're definitely good there. So I think I'll probably wrap it up here. Are there any
Mm.
shout outs you want to give?
Um I think just shout out to anyone that has given me any advice on streaming ever. Like I think I remember when I was thinking about quitting, it was around the same time Robin was thinking about quitting. And Soju was literally just like, fuck it, just quit. And he was like, Pigot just quit school too. And like, so we just quit. And then, I mean, Pigot didn't quit school, but then like Robin and I just kind of quit our jobs. Um, and yeah, I think like I think Boxbox is a really good streamer. He's always thinking about like how to improve his stream, like besides just the gameplay, like how to, add more entertainment value into it, like his Wordle and stuff like that. And that really inspired me to like do more than just play TFT. Like watching him and like getting to know how he thinks. And I think, yeah, people have definitely given good advice and inspired me. So yeah, I think I've just been really more inspired lately.
Awesome, yeah. I think like for me personally, Box is my number one like source of inspiration. So
Yeah, same, same, same.
awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. This has been Full Open with Emily Wayne. Check her out on Twitch. And yeah, see you guys next time.
All right, bye.